Hey guys, welcome back to Loop Hub. Today we'll talk about the most grossest and most disgusting moments on Dr. Pimple Popper. Let's head into it. Number 1. Unclogged blackheads inside a patient's ear. Dr. Pimple Popper posted a video on Instagram on Thursday showing a close-up of a blackhead extraction in a patient's ear. Dr. P pushed on the area surrounding each blackhead with a comb-down extractor, a looping metal tool, in the zoomed-in clip. Blackheads are a type of acne that develops when sebum, a natural oil generated by the body, clogs pores or hair follicles. Because sebum oxidizes when it comes into contact with air, it turns black. When Lee used the comb-down extractor to apply pressure on the patient's ear blackheads, the bulk of them popped out easily, as a golden and somewhat translucent glob of sebum came out of one pore. Lee told her patient, "You've got great fulfilling ones." Lee began by carefully lifting the top portion of a more difficult to remove blackhead with a little blade, freeing it from a pore. She was then able to remove the remaining sebum using the comb-down extractor. Number 2. Mount Gushmore Cyst. Fans dubbed Dr. Pimple Popper's cyst pop Mount Gushmore because it was so pleasurable. Lee checked the patient's silver dollar-sized cheek cyst in a YouTube video posted last Wednesday and stated it felt hard. Skin cysts can occur for two causes. Some arise when skin cells burrow beneath the surface and multiply, forming a sac filled with keratin, a yellow liquid-like substance. It can also form when oil produced by skin glands becomes trapped beneath the skin, generating a thick, cheese-like material. Lee said in the video that she initially saw a picture of a man's cyst in June, and that by this checkup, in late October, it had grown dramatically. "When I looked away, I just squirted a little, like it was speaking up," Lee explained. She then went to work. Lee used a small blade to make a little incision on top of the cyst to treat the man. It immediately ejected a thick white material, because the cyst was under pressure due to inflammation. Lee said the reaction happened swiftly. Lee used her fingers to squeeze on both sides of the cyst's orifice after it had been emptied a little on its own. More pus, as well as a tiny amount of blood, poured forth. The fat mass was then held in place by a sac inside the cyst, which Lee had to remove. She described the situation as problematic since the patient's body liquefied the cyst, making it difficult to locate the sac. Lee was able to clip away the sac and sew up the incision with the help of a blade, tweezers, and scissors. Because the incision was nearly half an inch deep, Lee also gave the patient antibiotics to avoid infection. Number 3. Infected cyst. Dr. Sandra Lee revealed one of her favorite treatment videos of all time on Thursday, in which she drained the patient's orange-sized back cyst. The patient had an epidermoid cyst, which is a form of cyst that occurs when skin cells burrow and grow beneath the skin. They usually grow slowly and are not unpleasant. The cyst had turned inflammatory and purple in this case, when it bursts beneath the skin, according to Lee in the video. Despite the fact that the cyst isn't diseased, Lee says that she refers to burst cyst in this manner because it's the simplest way to describe what's happened to patients. When an epidermoid cyst ruptures, it triggers a strong foreign body inflammatory reaction. Lee wrote in the video's caption, "The skin becomes warm, tender, painful, and swells, imitating an abscess." Lee recommended that the patient use a warm compress to the irritated cyst for 2 days to relieve the irritation. Lee then injected a numbing medication into the back cyst in her office. She poked the cyst with a little blade, and liquid pus and blood poured out of its center like a cascade. Lee pressed her finger above the incision she'd made, and the growth poured even more pus and blood. She exclaimed, "Gosh, it wants to come out." The cyst size began to decrease as the pus continued to drain for another 5 minutes. This treatment procedure, according to Lee, relieves pain and inflammation nearly instantly, and antibiotics aren't required after the cyst is emptied. Lee made a few more small cuts to allow more pus pockets to drain from the tumor, and her assistant gently kneaded the region with her fingertips to encourage the liquid to drain. To collect extra fluid, Lee placed a thin strip of gauze in the openings of the incisions. Excess fluid can cause an infection if left in, she noted. She informed the patient to return in a few days to check on the incision, and that as the cyst inflammation decreased, she should start to feel less pain and suffering. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.